A cosmic tear spits out Thanos, guarded by a mind-warping alien snake, while Earth shudders. Superman, Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man race the collapsing sky as nightmares bleed into reality. A shadow lands, Batman but not ours, an alien with the one secret that can seal the rift. Alliances snap, time rewinds, and cities fold like paper under the serpent's whisper. At the brink of the last beneath, one impossible sacrifice decides who lives and who vanishes forever. The cosmic ripple. The sky above Earth, once calm and predictable, had become something unrecognizable. Across the globe, the stars flickered as if disturbed by an unseen hand. People glanced nervously at the night sky, unaware of the cosmic rift that was opening in the very fabric of reality. Somewhere deep in the cosmos, a dark force stirred, an ancient evil, one that even the mighty Thanos could not control. The snap of the gauntlet had only been the beginning. Now a new threat was rising. The rift widened, splitting the heavens, and the earth trembled beneath the growing power of what was coming. In a flash, a colossal figure descended from the rippling breach in space, a figure shrouded in shadow. The sight was enough to make the bravest warriors pause. The silhouette grew larger as it neared, casting a long, imposing shadow across the land. Thanos had returned. But this time, the mad titan was not alone. His towering form was accompanied by something far more terrifying than anything Earth had ever seen, an alien snake, a creature of unimaginable power. Its eyes glowed like molten fire, and its enormous body slithered across the ground, leaving scorched earth in its wake. Thanos smiled, the wicked grin spreading across his face as he looked upon his new creation, the perfect weapon. The alien snake wasn't just any ordinary creature. It had the ability to manipulate time, matter, and even the very fabric of reality itself. With a hiss, it coiled around the air, twisting the molecules of the atmosphere like it was no more than fabric in the hands of a master. The heroes of Earth were unaware, scattered across their different corners, oblivious to the cataclysm unfolding above them. Superman stood high on the rooftops of Metropolis, gazing up at the sudden tear in the sky. A cold shiver ran down his spine. This wasn't just a cosmic anomaly. It was something far more dangerous. His eyes narrowed, and he leapt into the sky, determined to investigate the cause. Meanwhile, in the far reaches of the ocean, Thor felt the disturbance in the air, like a dark storm brewing. His hammer, Mjolnir, crackled with energy as he stared at the distant rift. "By Odin's beard, this is no natural storm," he muttered. Without hesitation, he summoned the Bifrost, preparing to join his allies. Iron Man hovered above a quiet city street, his suit gleaming under the city lights. His sensors were overloaded with data as the disturbance flooded his system. He knew this wasn't something he could handle alone. His hand hovered over his chest, calling up a holographic communication to Hulk, deep in the jungle. "We've got a situation," Tony said. "Meet me at the rendezvous point." Hulk didn't respond with words. He didn't need to. The ground beneath him trembled as he broke through the trees, his massive form charging forward like a freight train. The sheer force of his movements sent tremors through the earth. A new battle was about to begin, and Hulk was ready. As they all converged, each hero's thoughts raced, their mind set on the same singular goal: stop whatever this was before it consumed everything. But there was one problem none of them expected: Alien Batman. He appeared from the shadows of the rift, his eyes glowing with a faint, eerie light. Unlike the Batman they all knew, this version was something darker. His entire body covered in alien armor, his movements precise and calculated, every step cold and calculated. His cape flared, rippling with a strange, otherworldly energy. "Who are you?" Superman demanded, landing in front of the dark figure, his fists clenched, ready for a fight. The alien Batman didn't respond. He didn't need to. His presence alone was enough to send a chill through the air. The tension in the air thickened as the heroes tried to decipher who, or what, this new enemy was. Was he an ally? A foe? Or something far more dangerous, lying in wait, hidden beneath his armored exterior? Before they could question him further, the sky above them darkened even more. The cosmic rift pulsed violently, and a loud, bone-rattling hiss echoed from it. The alien snake slithered out of the rift, its enormous body now fully visible to the heroes. Its form seemed to stretch for miles, its coils wrapping around the very atmosphere itself. With a swift motion, the snake extended its neck, and its glowing eyes locked onto the heroes. Time itself seemed to slow as it reached for them with one massive claw. Superman's eyes widened. "We need to move, now." Thor raised Mjolnir, lightning crackling through the air as he hurled it directly at the snake's head. The hammer struck with a thunderous boom, but the snake barely flinched. Instead, it released a sonic screech that shattered the air, sending shockwaves through the ground and knocking the heroes off their feet. Iron Man's jets fired as he shot into the air, dodging the snake's attack and unleashing a barrage of missiles. But the creature was too fast. It twisted through the air with inhuman agility, its massive tail sweeping through the battlefield and sending Iron Man plummeting toward the ground. Hulk, enraged by the attacks, let out a primal roar, charging at the alien snake with raw strength. His fists collided with its massive form, but instead of recoiling, the snake seemed to absorb the impact, its body rippling as if it were made of liquid metal. "This thing won't die," Hulk roared, slamming his fists into it over and over. At that moment, the alien Batman stepped forward. His hand moved to his belt, and with a flick of his wrist, a strange device activated. A series of beams shot out from it, surrounding the snake in a glowing cage. The creature hissed violently as it was contained, but its power was far from diminished. "You're going to need more than that," Iron Man said, rising from the wreckage of his suit. "This thing is on a whole new level." The alien Batman's voice finally broke through the tension. "It's not just a creature. It's a weapon, designed to warp the very fabric of reality. Thanos doesn't control it. He's merely using it." The heroes exchanged uneasy glances. They had no choice but to work together. The fate of the Earth, and perhaps the universe itself, was on the line. As they regrouped, the alien snake's hold on reality tightened. The rift in the sky pulsed once more, and Thanos appeared before them, his grim expression unreadable. The Mad Titan raised his hand, and a dark, otherworldly energy radiated from his gauntlet. The battle had only just begun. The unlikely alliance. The sky had barely begun to settle when the true power of the alien snake became clear. With every second, it shifted the very reality around the heroes. The air crackled with unnatural energy, and the ground beneath them shook as if it were alive. Thanos stood at the heart of the chaos, a sinister grin playing across his face. He wasn't afraid of the snake. In fact, he seemed to welcome it, knowing exactly how to control it. "You don't know what you're up against," Thanos boomed, his voice carrying across the battlefield. "This creature isn't just a weapon. It's a force of nature, a predator that feeds on chaos. And now it feeds on you." Superman clenched his fists, his eyes locked onto the Mad Titan. "We won't let you win, Thanos," he declared. "We'll stop you, and we'll stop that creature." Iron Man hovered in the air, his armor glowing, the artificial intelligence running at full capacity. "That thing isn't just a snake," Tony Stark muttered, more to himself than anyone else. "It's warping reality, bending time, space, and even our minds. We need to focus on disabling it." Thor, his hammer still crackling with lightning, nodded grimly. "Aye, but this creature is not of our world. It is not so easily defeated." He turned toward the alien Batman, who had been eerily quiet, watching the scene unfold without uttering a single word. Iron Man's voice broke through the tension. "What's your plan, Batman? You seem to know more about this than you're letting on." The alien Batman finally spoke, his voice low and calculated. "This snake is a conduit, created to amplify the user's power. It feeds off destruction, time, and emotions. It isn't just attacking us. It's attempting to control us, manipulate our very thoughts." Hulk, still struggling to restrain his rage, slammed his fist into the ground, sending a shockwave through the earth. "I don't need anyone to tell me what to do," he roared. "I want to smash this thing now." Batman Alien didn't flinch. "You cannot overpower it with force alone. You need to unite your minds." Only then can you break its hold on you. Superman stepped forward, his voice calm but unwavering. If we fight as one, we have a chance. We have to do this together. No more separate agendas. We either stop this thing or it stops us. Iron Man activated a holographic display, rapidly analyzing the situation. I've got a plan. I need everyone to buy me time. If I can hack into the snake's neural network, we can sever its connection to the rift. But we need to distract it long enough for me to get close. Thor raised Mjolnir, readying himself for battle. Then let us be your distraction. Hulk, stay close to Stark. We will fight this creature together. The battle resumed with even greater ferocity. The alien snake lashed out, its massive tail swinging like a wrecking ball, threatening to crush everything in its path. Hulk charged, roaring, and slammed his fists into the snake's thick scales. Each blow sent ripples of energy across the field, but the creature barely flinched. You think that will stop me? The snake hissed, its voice penetrating their minds. Superman dove at the creature's head, his heat vision flaring as he aimed for its eyes. But the snake recoiled, its eyes shifting from glowing red to black as it absorbed the energy of the attack. With a single flick of its tail, it sent Superman flying through the air, crashing into a nearby mountain. Tony Stark darted in and out of the fight, launching missiles and energy blasts at the snake's vulnerable spots. Nice try, but this thing's one tough customer, he shouted. You've got to be kidding me. It's like it's got an anti-Superman field. Batman Alien stood motionless, his eyes locked on the creature. It's not just the creature. The snake is feeding on your anger, your fear. That's how it grows stronger. If you let it manipulate your emotions, you will lose. Iron Man pushed through the battle, dodging a wave of energy from the snake as it twisted time and space around him. Well, that's a great motivational speech, Batman. But unless you've got some magic trick up your sleeve, I could use a little backup here. Thor leaped into the air, Mjolnir crackling with the force of a thunderstorm. He hurled it directly at the snake's head, the weapon singing through the air with a roar of thunder. The snake shrieked as the hammer collided with its skull, sending shock waves through the atmosphere. That's what I'm talking about. Iron Man cheered. But before they could celebrate, the snake's massive form reared up again, the battle far from over. Now, Batman Alien shouted. Stark, now's your chance. Disable it. Tony Stark, fueled by adrenaline, sped toward the snake's exposed underbelly. With precision, he activated his tech and sent a pulse into the neural network of the creature. The snake hissed loudly, its movements becoming erratic as its mind control abilities faltered. You did it. Superman called out, soaring toward Stark. We've got it. But we need to finish it off. But just as they thought the battle was won, the ground beneath them trembled. A low growl vibrated through the earth, and out of the depths of the rift, Thanos emerged, his gauntlet glowing with an ominous power. With a snap of his fingers, the landscape shifted, and everything seemed to slow. You may have disabled the snake for now, but you've underestimated me, Thanos sneered. The rift is mine to control, and the creature, merely a tool. I control everything now. With a snap of his fingers, the sky tore open, and the cosmic rift expanded even further, feeding the alien snake more power. It writhed in agony, but then began to regenerate faster than ever. The heroes gritted their teeth, preparing for what they knew would be the ultimate test. If they were to defeat Thanos and the snake, they would need to push beyond their limits. And there was no time to waste. As Thanos stood at the center of the chaos, his eyes glowed with cold malice. You are out of time, he said, his voice like thunder. The end is coming, and you are powerless to stop it. Iron Man activated his suit's thrusters, propelling himself back into the fray. We'll see about that. The fate of Earth, and perhaps the universe, was hanging in the balance. The heroes had only one shot to take down Thanos and stop the alien snake from destroying everything. With every breath, the tension grew, and the inevitable showdown loomed closer. Shattered minds, shattered bonds. The air was thick with tension as the cosmic rift pulsed, expanding with each passing second. The alien snake, now fully empowered by the rift, coiled its enormous form around the heroes, its glowing eyes locking onto each of them. Time itself seemed to warp as reality bent to the will of the creature. The battlefield was alive with chaos, and even the mightiest heroes of Earth were beginning to buckle under the pressure. Hulk, his green skin slick with sweat, roared as he tore through the battlefield, smashing everything in his path. But the snake's hold on his mind was undeniable. Every blow he struck, every roar he let out, seemed to feed the creature's power. The more he fought, the more he was consumed by his own anger. "No," Hulk shouted, slamming his fists into the ground. "I won't let it control me." But the snake's influence was growing stronger by the second. With every twist of its coils, it pulled at their minds, feeding off their fear and frustration. Superman, who had been soaring through the skies to regroup, suddenly felt a cold rush of memories flooding his thoughts. His parents, Krypton, the destruction of his world. "You're nothing but a failure." The snake's voice slithered into his mind like a whisper on the wind. Superman's flight wavered as doubt began to take root. He plummeted toward the earth, but before he could crash, he caught himself with a blast of heat vision, scorching the ground beneath him. Yet his confidence was shaken, and the snake had noticed. The creature's power surged. Thor, too, was feeling the weight of his own doubts. Mjolnir pulsed with energy, but the visions of his fallen comrades and lost battles clouded his focus. His grip on the hammer faltered, and his mind raced with memories of his father, his sister, and the trials of Asgard. "You're weak, just like your father," the snake's hiss echoed in his mind. Iron Man hovered in the distance, calculating his next move, but his thoughts were filled with the image of his parents, his father's cold, disapproving gaze, and his mother's tragic death. "This is it," Tony thought. "I'm just like them, powerless." Batman Alien stood still, his glowing eyes reflecting the chaos around him. He wasn't immune to the creature's attack, but his training allowed him to suppress the voice. He wasn't like the others. He had been through far worse. But even Batman could feel the strain. "This is not the way," he muttered, his mind flashing to his own world, his own mistakes. "We must fight it together." The heroes were on the edge of collapse. The alien snake was feeding on their vulnerabilities, making them question everything they had ever known about themselves. It was as if their worst fears were manifesting before their eyes, and they had no way to stop it. Superman, struggling to maintain his focus, finally shook off the fog in his mind. He could hear the whispers of doubt, but he refused to succumb. With renewed strength, he flew back into the fray, his cape billowing in the wind. "We can't let it control us," he called out to the others. "We have to fight back, not just physically but mentally." Hulk, still raging, stopped in his tracks, hearing Superman's voice cut through the fog. "Control? Me," he growled, his fists clenched. "No one tells me what to do." But it wasn't a snake that he was fighting anymore. It was himself. Iron Man, standing at a distance, activated a neural dampener in his suit. "I'm done with this mind game. Let's take it down, one piece at a time." His sharp, tactical mind snapped into gear, and he began calculating a new strategy. Thor, shaking off his own doubts, called upon the full might of Mjolnir, summoning a storm unlike anything the world had ever seen. "I am the son of Odin. I will not fall." And then Batman Alien stepped forward, his dark, alien eyes flashing with determination. "We must unite. If we fall apart, we'll never defeat it." The alien snake, sensing the hero's resolve, let out an ear-piercing shriek. Its body coiled tighter, its hold on reality tightening. "You think you can stop me? You are nothing," it hissed. But it had underestimated them. Together, the heroes began to push back, each of them focusing on the one thing the snake couldn't control: their unity. Superman's strength was no longer just physical. He was fighting with his heart, not just his fists. Hulk found his rage channeled into focus, a raw, untamed power that burned with purpose. Thor's lightning tore through the air, striking with precision, and Iron Man's intellect found a way to break through the snake's defenses. Batman Alien used his knowledge to exploit the snake's weaknesses, guiding the team with cold, calculated precision. The snake shrieked again as they closed in on it, With one final coordinated strike, Superman unleashed a wave of heat vision that temporarily disoriented the creature, while Hulk smashed through its core, Iron Man's missiles breaking its armored exterior. Thor called down a bolt of lightning that surged through its body, and Batman Alien locked it down with his high-tech weapons. But before they could finish it off, Thanos emerged, more menacing than ever, his gauntlet glowing with unholy energy. "You may have forced the snake into submission," Thanos said, his voice laced with venom. "But you've only made things worse for yourselves. Now I shall destroy you all." The ultimate battle was far from over, and with each passing moment, Thanos' grip on the rift tightened, sending the heroes spiraling toward the final confrontation. The final stand. The battlefield had become a storm of energy and destruction. The alien snake, now crippled but not defeated, writhed in agony, its once glowing eyes flickering as it tried to regenerate. But the rift above them, still expanding, was where the true danger lay. Thanos, standing with the power of the Infinity Gauntlet at his side, was the final obstacle. His smirk was all the confirmation the heroes needed. The real battle had just begun. "You think you won?" Thanos' voice echoed across the war-torn field. "This creature may be your problem, but I am your end." His hand lifted the gauntlet, the gems shimmering with a light that could bend the very essence of existence. Iron Man immediately initiated his suit's full capabilities, his processors working at lightning speed. "We're not done yet," he muttered to himself. His holographic display blinked with calculations, trying to come up with a way to neutralize the Mad Titan's overwhelming power. If only I could get close enough to disrupt the gauntlet. But the task seemed impossible. The power in Thanos' hand was too much. With a snap of his fingers, he sent a wave of energy surging across the battlefield, forcing the heroes back. Superman was thrown like a ragdoll, crashing into a mountain, while Thor and Hulk were blasted off their feet, their bodies skidding across the rocky ground. The alien snake, still weakening but far from harmless, rose from its coil, its body twitching violently as it attempted to strike again. It released a shriek that echoed in the minds of everyone around it, threatening to break them down mentally as well as physically. The creature was more than just a beast. It was a living weapon, built to prey on their minds, their deepest fears. But as the heroes lay on the ground, struggling to regain their footing, Batman, Alien, stepped forward. His body was battered, his armor scratched, but his resolve was stronger than ever. "We can still win this," he said coldly, as if speaking to no one but himself. "But only if we stop Thanos and the snake together." "Don't give up." Superman's voice rang through the chaos, his eyes burning with determination. He stood, slowly rising from the rubble, shaking off the remnants of doubt. "We're not just fighting to save the Earth, we're fighting to save the universe." Thor gripped Mjolnir once more, his strength and courage reignited. We are not the first to stand against Thanos, and we shall not be the last." He raised his hammer high, summoning the might of the storm. Lightning crackled in the air, lightning itself answering his call. Hulk, still furious, let out another roar, his body transforming into a form of raw, unstoppable rage. "That's it. I'm done holding back." With a ground-shattering leap, he charged at the alien snake, fists ready to strike the beast down once and for all. Iron Man quickly recalculated his strategy. His suit hummed with power as he soared back into the fight, dodging the energy blasts that Thanos threw in his direction. "Gotta stay mobile. One mistake, and I'm toast." He sped around the battlefield, trying to buy time for the others to regroup. With a surge of teamwork, they began to rally. Superman darted in and out of the chaos, punching through debris and attacking with precision. Hulk's destructive force, unrestrained now, provided a devastating distraction as he pummeled the snake's exposed underbelly, smashing it to the ground. Thor's lightning, crackling with power, coursed through the alien creature, burning its flesh and weakening it further. Batman Alien made his move. Using the chaos around him, he launched a barrage of high-tech weapons at Thanos' gauntlet. The blasts connected with the gems, throwing the Mad Titan off balance, even if just for a moment. "Keep it up," Batman Alien shouted, his voice cutting through the mayhem. We have to keep Thanos from using that gauntlet again. But Thanos was relentless. He threw his head back, laughing in dark amusement. You are fools to think you can stop me. This universe is already mine. His hand clenched into a fist, and a shock wave of energy exploded outward, sending the heroes scattering once more. Yet, even with Thanos' overwhelming power, the heroes kept fighting, refusing to give up. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for the world they loved, for the future of everything they held dear. Superman, his resolve stronger than ever, soared through the air, his heat vision cutting through the rift above. You've already lost, Thanos, he shouted. This ends now. But just as they thought they were getting the upper hand, the rift surged, and the alien snake let out one last, guttural roar. It had one final, terrifying trick to play. With a twist of its body, it unleashed a wave of energy that spiraled through the ground, hitting the very heart of the battlefield. Reality began to warp, and the heroes struggled to maintain their ground as the rift destabilized even further. Time itself began to bend, and everything seemed on the verge of collapse. Iron Man's eyes widened in realization. We need to close that rift, or we'll all be erased. Batman Alien nodded, his face grim. Only one way to do it. Together. The final strike was coming. The ultimate showdown was about to unfold. Could the heroes close the rift and stop Thanos' reign, or would they be consumed by the very force they had been fighting against? Only time would tell. The last beneath. The world trembled as reality itself cracked. The cosmic rift, once a portal to unimaginable terror, now threatened to consume everything. The alien snake, its body contorted and writhing, fed off the chaos, growing stronger with each passing second. The heroes, battered, bruised, and on the brink of collapse, stood together one last time, their final stand against Thanos and the creature that had nearly torn their minds apart. Thanos, his gauntlet gleaming with the power of the Infinity Stones, stood at the center of the rift. His face was twisted with a mixture of arrogance and dark amusement. You should have stayed out of my way, he sneered, lifting his hand. The energy from the gauntlet surged again, slamming into the heroes like a tidal wave. The ground cracked beneath them, and the air itself seemed to buckle under the weight of his power. Superman, Thor, and Hulk were all knocked back, their bodies sent crashing into the earth. Iron Man, struggling to stay airborne, activated every system in his suit, trying to remain focused amidst the chaos. We can't keep taking hits like this, he shouted, his voice crackling through the comms. We need to end this now. Batman Alien was the first to react, his eyes glowing with a cold determination. We have no choice. The rift must be closed before it's too late. The alien snake, sensing its victory, unleashed a final attack. Its massive tail whipped across the battlefield, slamming into the heroes and sending shock waves through the land. But they refused to fall. They couldn't. Not now. Thor rose to his feet, Mjolnir crackling with divine energy. I will not let this creature bring about the end. He hurled his hammer with the force of 1,000 storms, striking the snake directly in the head. The impact sent ripples of energy through the battlefield, but the creature only hissed in rage, its eyes burning with dark power. Focus on Thanos. Batman Alien called out, his voice sharp. He controls the rift. If we take him down, the snake will lose its power. The heroes rallied. Superman surged forward, his fists blazing with heat vision as he collided with Thanos, knocking him off balance. Iron Man dived in, firing a direct hit at the gauntlet, trying to disrupt its flow of power. Hulk, his rage at a boiling point, tore through the battlefield, each blow smashing into Thanos' forces. But it was Batman Alien who had the final piece of the puzzle. With one swift movement, he used his high-tech gadgets to disarm Thanos, knocking the gauntlet out of his hand and into the air. Superman reached out, catching the gauntlet just as Thanos lunged to reclaim it. No, Thanos screamed, his voice filled with fury and desperation. With a surge of strength, Superman crushed the gauntlet, the power of the stones dissipating into nothing. The rift began to destabilize, the energy field collapsing as reality itself began to heal. The alien snake let out one final screech before it, too, began to disintegrate, its form evaporating into the void. But the heroes knew their battle wasn't quite over. With the rift beginning to close, the ground beneath them cracked wide open. A violent explosion of energy erupted from the depths, sending the heroes scrambling for cover. Iron Man activated his boosters, flying high into the air as the ground crumbled beneath him. Thor and Hulk held the line, using their combined strength to keep the destruction at bay, but it was clear the world was still teetering on the brink. Then, with a flash of brilliant light, the rift collapsed in on itself, and the battle was over. The land was still, the only sound the wind blowing through the cracked earth. The heroes stood amidst the ruins, battered but alive. The rift was closed. The alien snake was no more. Thanos, defeated, was nowhere to be seen. Superman, Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, and Batman Alien looked at each other, each one knowing that the world had been saved, but at a great cost. They had faced unimaginable odds, and in the end they had prevailed. But they also knew something else. This battle was just the beginning. There would be more threats, more darkness on the horizon, and they would be ready. The universe would always need its heroes. End.